Take a look at this. It's a skull that's over 100 years old. Now, it's from a 5-year-old, but look carefully and you'll see why I really wanted to show it to you.
This skull has 2 sets of teeth. These are milk teeth, and these are adult teeth. They're waiting to come through when the milk teeth fall out. But what's amazing about this is that it's not amazing at all.
If you're still waiting for your adult teeth, just think they're already in your head, fully grown. Underneath your skin, your skull will look just like this one. Both sets of teeth are coated with enamel. It's the hardest substance in your body. It's even harder than bone, but it's not indestructible, as we're about to find out.
Does my breath smell bad?
Yes, it does, actually.
I'm not surprised. I haven't brushed my teeth in 2 days.
But it's all for a good cause, isn't it, Chris?
I hope so.
In fact, it was my idea. While I've been brushing my teeth twice a day, as you should, I haven't let Chris brush his at all for 2 days. But it's all in the name of medical research.
My teeth feel fuzzy.
That's because Chris has a layer of plaque building up on them. Open wide.
I'm going to show you why plaque isn't something you want a lot of. When you go to the dentist, you'll have had your teeth scraped like this.
Going anywhere nice on holiday this year, Chris?
No.
Oh, lovely. I've been there. It's wonderful at this time of year. Oh, Chris, this is disgusting. Plaque is a mixture of food particles, acid and bacteria.
We've all got thousands of different bacteria living in our mouths, and most of them are harmless. But there are some bad ones that can turn the sugars in the food we eat into acid.
And it's this plaque acid that's the real problem.
It eats away at the tooth enamel, and that's what tooth decay is.
Please, can I have my toothbrush back now?
Soon, there's more to show you.
We're both going to rinse our mouths with a special blue dye that will show up how much plaque we have on our teeth. It's my brush gnashers first. Ta-da!
You look really funny.
You look funny.
Now, even though Xand has been brushing regularly, you can see that some dye has stuck to his teeth, and that's all plaque.
That makes me a bit worried, because I haven't brushed my teeth for over 2 days.
Why'd you do that?
It was your idea.
Well, after a quick rinse with the blue dye, it's time to check out the state of my unbrushed teeth.
Oh, there's plaque everywhere. How do you let this happen? So, if you compare my lovely clean brush teeth with Chris's disgusting unbrushed teeth, you can really see the difference. And all that plaque has built up in just 2 days. That's gross.
I feel quite disgusting. I would like my toothbrush back.
Nope.
I want to get a much closer look at your plaque, Chris, which is why I've put a dollop of it under this microscope.
Look at this.
Wow! So these bacteria are the ones that live in my plaque. And although we can't tell which are the good ones and which are the bad ones, some of them are the ones that produce the acid that is rotting my teeth right now.
Yep, and if you just leave plaque, it hardens like cement. That's called tartar, and it builds and builds. It can damage your gums and give you rotting teeth that look like this.
Not a good look. That's it, I've had enough. I am going to brush my teeth.
No, he's not.
The largest organ in our body, skin is one big protective barrier against the universe.
It protects us from overheating by making us sweat and protects us from the cold by creating goosebumps that trap a layer of warm air around us.
But if you've ever spent too long in the bath, you'll have noticed something else about your skin.
Wrinkly fingers.
Now, the reason that happens is because your skin is covered in a protective layer of dead cells. When these get wet, they can absorb water and swell. Now, these dead cells are constantly being replaced.
New cells are born all the time. They rise from the lower part of your skin to the top until they die. It's those dead cells that you can see on Xand's wrinkly fingers.
But even though you go wrinkly in the bath, you don't keep soaking up water like a sponge, and that's because your skin is full of natural oils which repel the water away.
those oils aren't the only way your skin repels danger, as we're about to show you.
This is liquid nitrogen.
It's nearly minus 200 degrees Celsius, which makes it one of the coldest things on Earth and a very dangerous substance.
My flowers!
Ah, yes, sorry, Xand. The liquid nitrogen is so cold that it's frozen the water in the flowers. So let's see what happens when Xand dips his hand into it.
Did you not see what happened to the flowers?
But your hands aren't flowers.
That's true, actually. I should be able to do this, although I haven't done it before.
OK, here goes.
Oh! It's amazing.
Was that cold?
It stings, and you can feel it's very cold.
So how come Xand's hand didn't crumble like the flowers?
I'm warm at the moment, so my body's pumping hot blood to my hand, and that hot blood boils the liquid nitrogen away from my skin and prevents it from injuring me.
And you can see that on the back of my hand, the big veins full of hot blood, and they're going to protect me. Ready?
Yeah,
It does sting. It does sting.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm OK.
So, the hot blood in my skin repels the liquid nitrogen away from my hand, stopping it from freezing.
So what we've seen is that your skin isn't just needed to keep your insides in.
It's an amazing organ which protects your body from the dangers of extreme heat or cold, making sure your body temperature remains constant and keeping you safe from harm.
Take a deep breath.
OK, you can try that at home. Breathing is absolutely essential to make our bodies work, and it's something we do without even thinking about it. But why? How do our lungs work? And what is it that makes us breathe?
What are you doing?
What I've got here is the innards from a pig. I know it looks like a meat counter, but one of the things I've got here is a pig's lung. So have a look and see if you can figure out which one it is.
Have you worked it out? Why don't you show us, Xand?
I'm going to inflate the lung.
Is it that bit?
Oh, no!
The pig breath. That's great. You blow at the pig and the pig blows back at you.
It blew right back. It's quite weird.
Keep blowing. I've got something I want to show, so you keep breathing in and out.
A pig's lung works in exactly the same way as ours.
When you breathe in and out, what's happening is you're taking oxygen out of the air and you're breathing out carbon dioxide, which is a waste gas. It's just like a car's exhaust pipe.
So the inside of your lung is actually like a sponge. It's got millions of little air spaces in it called alveoli.
And it's inside these alveoli where oxygen is absorbed and is sent to wherever it's needed all over your body. These little pockets inside the lung have a huge surface area. The bigger the area, the more oxygen that can be absorbed.
That's the really important things about the lung, is these air spaces. It's the surface area that they give. And in fact, if you spread out all the alveoli, it would have the same surface area as a tennis court.
So, we know that when you breathe in, your lungs take oxygen from the air for your body. And when you breathe out, you expel the harmful carbon dioxide that your body doesn't need. But what happens in your body when you hold your breath? Let's find out.
So this machine is called a capnometer, and it's going to measure the carbon dioxide that Xand's breathing out through here, and it's also going to shine a laser through his finger and measure the amount of oxygen in his blood. The carbon dioxide level's about 5, and his oxygen levels are about 95%, both of which are normal.
Now I'm going to hold my breath.
No, now you should hold your breath.
I said I'm going to hold my breath.
Just hold your breath. So at first, nothing much changes, apart from the fact that the machine thinks you're dead. Don't worry, Xand, you're not dead. But the machine thinks you're dead because it's not detecting you breathing out anymore. You've got enough oxygen in your body for about 5 to 10 minutes of life. But Xand isn't going to make it nearly that long because the rising levels of carbon dioxide in his blood are going to make him absolutely desperate to breathe.
That's because it's the carbon dioxide build-up in your blood that tells your body to breathe before your oxygen runs out.
All right, on my count, I want you to breathe out slowly through the machine. Go. In Xand's last breath, he had high levels of carbon dioxide, but his oxygen levels never really went that low.
So although the machine shows that Xand's oxygen level is almost normal, his carbon dioxide level has risen significantly.
So what we see from this is that long before I was going to run out of oxygen, the rising carbon dioxide levels in my blood were forcing me to breathe.
So you can breathe easy knowing that your body is working hard to look after itself by getting rid of all that carbon dioxide and sending all the good stuff, oxygen, around your body.
This might look like a typical man wandering along a typical street. But don't be fooled, in fact he's a 13-time world champion famous for his extraordinary face.
Okay, nice moustache. What's he doing to impress this bunch?
That's amazing. Truly amazing.
Wondering what's causing all the commotion? Well, take a look at this.
Ah, he's an alien!
No, Xand, this is Tommy Mattinson, and he's the world gurning champion, which means he can contort his face into the most amazing expressions.
Gurning's based on transformation, so it's basically how you look and to what you turn into.
It's impressive. He's an ugly man, though.
I've never seen a face like that before. That was just incredible.
But how does Tommy's unusual face do this? Behind the skin, there's around 40 facial muscles. By stretching and contracting them, it's possible to make more than 4,000 different expressions.
Over years of practice, Tommy has built up his muscles so much that he can move his facial features much further than most people, creating some truly incredible expressions.
And Tommy can turn himself into a werewolf.
You can be quite scared and people you know, can taken aback with that, which the Queen was when she saw that face.
Her Majesty the Queen was taken aback.
Now that's amazing.
And now to our lab.
Where we do incredible experiments to show you how your body works.
So watch this.
Just don't try anything you see here at home.
Now this is a real stomach, but it's not my stomach.
Whose stomach is it?
Well, actually, it's a sheep's stomach, but it's very similar to ours. Now, your stomach is an amazing shrinking, stretching, cleaning machine.
That's right. After you've eaten food, it goes down into your stomach, which then mashes it up and cleans it to get rid of any bugs that might be there. Another amazing thing your stomach can do is expand according to the food you've eaten. So if you have a small snack, then it'll stay small.
But if you eat a big meal,
then it'll get much bigger.
and we're going to show you just how much bigger it can get. First, we're going to make a meal of fish fingers, chips and peas.
Yum!
Now we're going to mix it all up in the liquidizer, just like your teeth mash up food when they chew it. And there we go, a nice big jug of fish finger smoothie.
Now we need to pour the mixture into the hole at the top where the food from your mouth goes down into your stomach. We've closed up the hole at the bottom too. This is where the food would leave your stomach to go into your intestines to be absorbed.
Now when you eat, you often, along with your food, swallow some air, and when your stomach squeezes, that air gets forced back up your food pipe and comes out as a burp.
Sorry, Chris.
When you get wind at the other end, it's because gas has been produced in your large intestine. Don't even think about it, just keep pouring. That has got much bigger, hasn't it?
Your stomach expands depending on how much you've eaten, but an adult stomach can actually swell up to 10 times its own size.
But that's not all. In your stomach, you've got a very powerful acid. It's so strong it kills bacteria and can even change some of your food to make it more digestible.
You see, when you get hungry and your tummy rumbles, that's your stomach producing the acid in preparation for the incoming food.
In your stomach are parietal cells, and they make the acid.
So we're going to show you right now how the acid works. This is my sick. It's a mixture of food and acid, so I'm going to sieve the food out. We'll just be left with the acid.
You love doing this, don't you?
Yes, I do.
So if I sieve out the chunky bits of food, I'm left with just my stomach acid. Then I'll add some of this acid to milk and watch what happens.
If I stir that, can you see that?
Oh, that's disgusting.
So the milk has gone chunky, and that's because the acid has made the protein in the milk all clump together. It's called curdling. It's what happens in your stomach every time you drink a milkshake.
Oh, I like milkshake.
Your stomach acid does this to milk to stop it flowing through your body too quickly. It needs to absorb all the proteins from those crumbly lumps.
So this acid is clearly very strong stuff. So why doesn't it dissolve our gut?
In your stomach, you've got a layer of thick, protective mucus, but the rest of your gut secrete a chemical called bicarbonate, which neutralizes the acid. So when you're having your tea tonight, just remember how brilliant your stomach is.
Ooh, tea? What are we having for tea?
Son, you're always thinking with your stomach. Take a look at this. This is an MRI scan of my tongue as I'm speaking, and you can see it's pretty huge. But speaking isn't the only thing you need your tongue for. One of the best things it does is help you taste. Your tongue is covered in small hair-like projections, as I'm going to show you. Right, Xand, open your mouth nice and wide. Ugh! Not hair like that. I said hair-like projections. Can't see them with your naked eye, so take a look at this.
This is a super close-up of your tongue. This red blob is called a papilla. Your taste buds sit on the side of it, and they contain tiny hair-like projections called microvilli to help you taste.
And if you look at your tongue, the bumps you can see are the papillae.
And the more papilla you have on your tongue, the more taste buds you have, and the more sensitive to taste you are.
And you have more of them than we do.
Because we're doctors.
No, Xand, because we're adults. We have around 5,000 covering our tongues, but you have 10,000. That's twice as many.
And to prove it, Chris, I've brought in a sample. This sample is 9 years old.
This isn't a sample, it's a child.
Anyway, the point is, we're going to compare Chris's papillae with the samples. But first, I need to cover your tongues in blue food dye.
The blue dye will show up all the papillae.
And now, the sample.
I have a name, you know, and it's Hermione.
Very noisy sample. Give me your tongue.
Nice blue tongue, Hermione. Xand is putting a glass slide on both our tongues to make it easier to count the papillae.
Chris's papillae are those little pale dots right there. And these are Hermione's. You can see that there's way more on her tongue, and that means more taste buds. Good job, Hermione.
As we get older, your taste buds deteriorate and they aren't replaced, which is why you will be much more sensitive to strong flavours like garlic than your mum or dad.
There are certain things, though, like a cold, that can play havoc with everybody's sense of taste.
But why would having a bunged up nose affect your taste? Well, we're going to show you. Xand, meet Mr. Big Mouth.
Hello. Ah, you've cut him in half. Why don't you call him Mr. Cut in Half?
Xand. Now, when you eat food, odour molecules are released and swirl around your mouth, but also right up into this. This is the passage that connects your mouth to your nose.
And right up here, at the back of your nose, are lots of sensors called olfactory receptors, which sense and identify different odour or smell molecules and tell your brain what it is you're tasting.
So, to show you this, we're going to use an equally oversized bit of kit.
The smell molecule blower thingy.
Also, we'll need our safety equipment and these polystyrene balls to represent those smell or odour molecules.
3, 2, 1, blow!
We're cheating a bit because our smell molecules are being blown in, but inside your body, the smell molecules in food are released naturally as you chew.
Wow, that worked really well.
You can see how the smell molecules race through the back of the mouth and up the tube, connecting it to the nose and right onto the olfactory receptors, which instantly recognize the smell and tell your brain what you're tasting.
And your olfactory receptors can also protect you because they can tell if something is bad before you eat it. As soon as they whiff something like off milk, they alert your brain so you know not to eat it. But Xand, what would happen if Mr. Big Mouth got a cold?
That would be disgusting. We're going to need a lot of snot.
We're smearing our snot inside the passages of our giant mouth and nose, just like when you have a cold.
Let's see what happens now that Mr. Big Mouth has got a big cold. Ready? Go.
Look, this time the odour molecules are getting stuck in the snot. They aren't getting anywhere near the olfactory receptors, and that means no taste.
Yeah, Mr. Big Nose wouldn't be able to taste anything at all.
Except for that one tiny polystyrene ball.
So we've shown you that, like Hermione's tongue, you've got twice the number of taste buds as us, or your mum and dad, or any adult.
But as good as your tongue is, you also need your nose if you really want to savour a flavour.